All right, it's Rob, Brad, and Mike. We are in the lounge. We're having a few beers. I myself am drinking a delicious double stout. Brad got stuck with a Sam Adams from the mother-in-law, and Mike's sitting there sucking on a Heineken. We're going to discuss a little bit of the upcoming Super Bowl. This is going to be our pre-show to the exciting show. We just had to get one out. Pre. This is it. This is the pre. So, Brad, what are you thinking about this game?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is kind of recognize that we respect the Patriots, but we're still coming in to win. And I think Doug Peterson has kind of set the tempo as far as that goes. We're here to play one single game and take on a team that's obviously been here before, had a great amount of success in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, perhaps the greatest quarterback of all time, and Tom Brady. And we do have to respect the fact that they've been here before and they know what it takes to win. But we can't be afraid going in.
It ain't about them.
You didn't go here just to show up. You came here to win the game, as Herm Edwards likes to say.
That's right.
You played to win the game.
Lurie was pretty adamant about that, too, during the speech right after the NFC Championship
That's
game.
what we're here for. And our team has proven to be and I talked a little bit before the podcast with Mike and Rob about this, but Foles, for his up and downs, has won every meaningful game since he came in for Carson Wentz. You take the Rams game. He found a way to drive down for 2 field goals. They ended up beating the Rams in L.A. You came back. You won a high-scoring game. You had a pretty good game against the Giants. Defense didn't play that well. Then the next game against the Raiders, he did not play well, but, it was inclement weather. Derek Carr did not play well on the flip side for Oakland. And
which is pretty common for Derek Carr this year.
Yeah. But, maybe you can blame that one a little bit more on weather. And then you had something where he came in for, a quarter and a half for the Cowboys game. It didn't mean anything. The Cowboys were able to win 6-0 playing against our backups. So I'm not really counting that as a meaningful game. But then you go into the playoffs. He had no turnovers against the Falcons. And then had a great game last week against Minnesota. So
He had a ridiculous game against Minnesota. I mean, that's what we're hoping for is Nick.
We are playing as if we're not afraid. And we have enough good talent that we can win. Some things have to happen. We'll have to take them out of their game a little bit on, the defense, our defense versus their offense. But if Nick just doesn't cost us the game, we'll be in the game. Like if Nick doesn't go crazy with the turnovers, we're able to win the turnover ratio. I think we have a good chance of winning the game. And Peterson sent the tempo that he expects them to win. And I think they have a good chance.
I think they have an
expect them
excellent
to
chance.
also, yeah.
I mean, they picked apart that defense last week. That was the number one defense in the NFL. Patriots do not have that kind of defense.
No, they don't. The Patriots,
not at all.
In the regular season, were in the bottom third as far as defenses go. Gave up 366 total yards offense a game, 114 rushing, 251 passing. So Matt Patricia's there with a bend but don't break kind of defense. He plays to the strengths of his players. And actually, I like that in a defense. I like a defense that's flexible and assesses their talent and utilizes it to the best ability. And they do have some talented players on defense. So you got to have to give them credit because even though they were, I think it was like third or fourth worst as far as total yards per game, they were top 10 as far as points scored per game, right around 18.5, which the Eagles only give up 18.4 points per game. So it's a bend but don't break defense.
I'd like to see that number be schedule adjusted for the fact that they play the Jets and Dolphins and Bills twice.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. I guess.
Birds have the better defense.
I guess.
We can all agree there.
Yeah, I think they do.
Between the two teams, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's
but
right.
But the one problem with a bend but don't break defense is that if you have a couple of breakdowns, that's a break defense. Because you're allowing the team to drive down into scoring territory. And if they're able to get some touchdowns, whereas they usually give up field goals.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly those 9 points becomes 21.
Right. It really impacts the game. So I think there's a really good chance that we're going to drive the ball. We have a great kicker, so we're going to get some points there, probably on field goals.
Make all your extra points, Jake.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, definitely.
Get a little more accurate in the 30-yard range.
Every point's going to count in a game like this.
Absolutely.
So. But yeah, we're gonna be in position to score. It's just when they tighten up,
but do you think,
inside their 20, are we going to be able to make the plays we need to make to get touchdowns?
They do tighten
field
up.
goals?
Yeah.
They do. I mean, yeah, they gave up the same amount of points basically that we did, and we had a strong defense. So they give up yards where we don't give up quite as much, but they don't give up points. So we're gonna have chances to score. It's just, can we execute at the point in time when we're inside their 20? Can Alshon come up with a great catch? Can Ertz come up with a great catch? Can Aguilar come up with a great catch? Can Foles make a great throw? Can Blunt power run against their D-line?
Jai break it out.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have chances.
And not fumble.
And
they can't fumble.
And we have the skill position players to do so. But I think we all notice in a game like this that the number of possessions you have is going to be important. So to lose it on a turnover is critical. So we cannot turn the ball over.
Right. None of this Belichick kind of wins with his coaching where they end up squeezing an extra possession at the end of the second half and then get the ball back. Like, then suddenly they win the possession battle. They just have 9 possessions and the Birds have 7, and then suddenly it's harder to win when you have less opportunities to score.
Right.
Well, the nice thing about that is you saw a Belichickian type philosophy from Peterson.
Yeah, he's starting to do that.
Or late in the first half of that Minnesota game, he took, with 29 seconds left and a couple timeouts, they drove down the field and squeezed an extra field goal out of it. Now, it didn't end up impacting the end of the game, but that's what you like to see.
That's what you should do.
That's an extra score, and it's time when a lot of coaches go conservative and just want to get into halftime. The Eagles had the ball coming out of half, but he wanted to get that score then, and another score coming back out of the half.
None of this playing safe garbage. I agree.
No, you can't. That's how they get you.
I appreciate the aggressive philosophy. Yeah, we play quite well. So it starts with coaching philosophy, and our coach has the right mentality. Now, can the players make the plays to win? I mean, that's going to be the ultimate question. Can we make plays to limit Brady's effectiveness, and can Foles?
And how much is Belichick going to pick apart the defense? Because he's very good at that. They make those adjustments, and they get.
You know they're going to try a slant and go on Mills at least once, probably 2 or 3 times.
And how quick can Brady get rid of it, too?
And it's the ultimate chess match, because we are very good at in-game adjustments, but they are as well. So it's going to be a tit for tat. Like, you make this adjustment, they adjust, and who makes the right adjustments and how quickly they make them is probably going to impact the outcome of the game.
Because you can't make a pass off your back either.
This is true. This is true. And we have, regardless of the matchup of the quarterbacks, which obviously is in New England's favor.
Yes.
That if our D-line can make Brady a little bit worse and Nick can play average to good Nick, then maybe it's a wash.
Yeah. And, I mean, I need to give Foles an apology, as I was if he starts out being bad Nick Foles, he needs to get benched.
Yeah, you were calling for Nick Sudfeld to come into the situation there.
Studfeld. I mean, it's hard not to want Studfeld.
Right.
But
so much there.
But Nick proved me wrong, and he came out and was high variance positive.
He was
good Nick Foles.
He was out of his mind. Yeah. He was on another level. That was
so he definitely deserves a few opportunities before I instantly call for him to get benched.
And that's right.
And that also comes
at
back.
least 2. Mike's going to give him 2.
Maybe 2.5.
2 bad drives, and it's Studfeld time for Mike.
Foles' great play actually comes back to the coaching to start with, though. So what Peterson did is said, what has Nick Foles done good since he's been in the league? And he went back to the Chip Kelly era. I know no Eagles fan wants to go back to the Chip Kelly era.
We had enough.
He went back to the run-pass option that Nick was really good at when he had 27-2. And they incorporated some of that into the game plan last week, and he was really efficient on it.
That little crouch where like every single play starts off with a little bit of a play action kind of thing.
Right, and Nick's able to make those kind of reads. So I think it almost makes Nick a better quarterback by putting him in an offense that he's comfortable with.
Well, sure. I think
that's
absolutely
pretty natural. Right.
And
you want him as comfortable as possible.
And against the number 1 defense, you don't expect to be 10 of 14 on third downs. I mean, that was just a ridiculous.
That was
right, and a few things went their way. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but when you're winning 38-7, it's more about execution. I mean, some things probably did go their way, but it wasn't about the ball bouncing the right way for them to win. I mean,
not 38.
No,
when you went up
38-7,
outside of that first drive, I mean, they did squat. Even when they were in the red zone, they said, Case, you're going to have to keep hitting these 7 to 15 yard passes, and he would either hold it too long, get strip sack, or throw a pick, or our defense gets enough
because they got at him. Yeah,
and our special teams do a good job of making them drive the field. So their best field position is usually a touchback, starting at their own 25, unless it's a punt. So they're saying what they said last week is that you, Case Keenum, have to beat us with 15 to 20, 7 to 15-yard passes. And he did connect on some of them, but when it came down to it, he made mistakes.
He did.
And
Yep.
part of that's the game plan.
He closed his eyes and he chucked it.
But the thing is, do you think Brady's going to get rattled like Keenum did? Like, I don't.
No.
I think it's going to
We've
get a
seen
lot.
him kind of get a little rattled.
It's going to be
some
hard to
Super
rattle
Bowls.
that dude. I mean, well, the Jags got at him a lot too, man. He just popped right up and was like, ugh.
Yeah, but for the most part, until the Jags D-line got tired and they weren't getting that pressure on them, they had control of the game. I mean, Jags were up 20 to 10 late in the third, and they had continually got pressure on them. They slowed down and they got tired. I think the one benefit for the Eagles is they have a 7-8 man rotation, so you're keeping people fresh. So whereas teams tire defensive lines at the end of the game
That's
against
true.
Brady, we hopefully should be fresh coming into the fourth quarter.
Right. And Vinny Curry's probably going to get a lot of snaps.
And he's always just got to deal with it, like snap after snap. They're coming.
Right.
Sure.
Bo Allen's not going to just be able to sit on the sidelines and be like, I'm never getting in. He's playing snaps.
Yeah, it's Curry and Bo Allen. Those guys are going to have to get in there and keep the other guys fresh. And
Chris
certainly-
Long. Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, like,
Barnett.
Chris Long and Barnett can produce at a high level, so I'm not really worried about that. And Bo Allen is serviceable. Certainly not as good as the starting two defensive tackles in Cox and Jernigan, but he's good enough to come in for a couple plays and, stop the run and maybe get a push up the middle and, things of that
Wear him
nature.
down,
So,
yeah.
I think our rotation benefits us a little bit more than the Jags did. Jags have a great front four, but they got tired at the end of the game. They weren't able to get pressure. Brady was able to execute, and another greatest of all time comeback. So, they will have to get pressure, and they cannot take off. If they happen to get ahead in the game,
They can't take it. No.
offensively or defensively,
Right.
you have to go full throttle and keep saying that I'm not going to count on anything that they're doing,
'cause
we're
the
going to do what we do best the entire game.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
because Patriots just don't give up. They don't get rattled.
Don't
I mean,
forget, they got
yeah.
down 28-3. Like, they
And
can
that
be
was-
beaten.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, that was 28-3 with a couple minutes left in the third quarter. So they had a quarter plus like a little bit of one other quarter, and they came back from a 28-3 deficit. So that's why you can't give up and get complacent and say,
Right.
we're going to play not to win. We're gonna
Also,
start
don't
doing-
give up strip sacks in the middle of the field and give them a free possession
Yeah,
from
that's a terrible
the
move right
50.
there.
Yeah.
Well, you have to start managing the clock. You have to start eating away time because
That's
time
right.
is in your favor if you're winning it late in the game.
Sure
so you're going to
is.
find a way to make complete short passes, run the ball for 4 to 5 yards, things of that nature.
That's where you
Shorten
get
the
your
game.
Blunts and your Ajayi.
Yeah, and
Yep.
we do have people. We do have people other than the quarterback that can make the plays that can win us the game.
Corey
So,
Clement can take advantage of those linebackers.
He sure can.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have.
Little X factor there.
It's not all about the
CC.
quarterback. It wasn't only
CC.
Carson Wentz, and I think that's a really great thing to learn as an Eagles fan. That it wasn't just all about your quarterback. You have a damn good team around.
Yeah, it's a really good team.
Like I said, Foles gets some credit for winning out every meaningful game, but that's a team. That's a team issue.
Oh, yeah,
there, too.
that's the whole
it's
team.
Them
Oh, yeah.
executing at a high level, and we have a great offensive and defensive line, kind of Andy Reid philosophy, where you win in the trenches, and we have a pretty strong, minus our left tackle Vaitai on
But
offense. and
he's
defense.
been better. He's been. He's
Well,
he's still the weak link. No
and
doubt.
I don't always think. I think he's playing better, but I think the coaches recognize that they'll give him some help. So the
Yeah,
running back
he's
out of
still-
the backfield
he's still the
chipping.
weak link.
You're lining up a tight end on that end to kind of crash down on the D end a little bit. But then again, the D line of we're taking a look at the matchup of the Eagles offense versus the Patriots defense on PFF here, and there are some areas you can be exploited.
There's no
Obviously,
Richard Seymours on the edge anymore.
No, they have some good corners in Butler and Gilmore. Pretty solid on that.
Oh, yeah, they are. They're very
but,
good.
But Alshon still put up big game against Xavier Rhodes and the vaunted Vikings defense.
Yeah.
So I'm not really afraid. I think Jeffrey's going to make some plays. But I think where you can really make some game-changing, game-breaking plays are Ertz against the linebackers, Flowers and Richards.
Yeah.
And Aguilar matched up against our boy Eric Rowe, ex-Eagle.
Not nearly the quickest or most sudden.
No,
in
and
the league.
Aguilar has some agility, and he could probably create some space and make some plays deep, mid-range deep.
Patrick Chung can be had, too.
He
And
can.
we know this.
He
We've
can.
seen it.
We've seen it in an Eagles uniform. So how do you think the run game's going? How do you think Jai and Blunt are going to do against that?
I think they're going to do well. I think that Belichick is going to want to take away the run and make Nick Foles win the game. So if you take a look at their season, they
Chung might creep into the box.
They gave up 4.7 yards per carry, which is pretty atrocious. Like that's almost like 2 runs equals a first down.
Yeah, not good at all.
Yeah, no. So they're going to find a way. They know we have a running game, and they know the first option is to run. So they're probably going to disguise some things, then crawl like Chung up to the line of scrimmage and have 8 in the box, and try to get Nick Foles to kind of, if he's doing the run pass option, which the Patriots have struggled against before.
Keep up with that.
So they're going to make him keep the ball and make passes in tight coverage to Jeffrey or, Torrey Smith, or if he has enough time, Aguilar and Ertz. But they're probably going to try to get pressure on him early to make sure that the, 2 primary receivers are covered and hope that he doesn't have enough time to get to the secondary receivers.
You're right. Like, he's even more than a lot of quarterbacks, it's like very rhythm and momentum based. Like, you can instantly tell right away whether Nick is, like, on fire or playing atrocious.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they really want Shook Nick to come out quick.
They really do.
So, yeah.
Then he makes mistakes. He's double second guessing
I can see
himself.
a lot of blitzes. I can see a lot of bump and run. Like a lot of we don't respect your quarterback type things right away to try and throw him off.
And the best way to throw him off is to plant him. Like, land him on his back.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it's an incomplete pass or whatever.
When there's pressure and he's still standing in the pocket tough and strong like he was last week, not worried about arms kind of flailing, and then he can drop bombs over the top of people, that was awesome. But against Oakland, like when he's backing up.
Yeah. Well, I think the nice thing about Nick is, and he showed it last week a little bit, is that he's able to slide a little bit. He's not mobile, but he's mobile enough to be able to slide in the pocket and make plays.
I'd say he has heavy feet.
He made a double clutch throw to Ertz. That was a great throw.
Yeah.
And he also slid in the pocket and made the touchdown pass to Alshon Jeffrey. So as long as you're not getting interior pressure, and with Brooks and Wisniewski, maybe not quite as much Kelsey. Kelsey's more of a pulling kind of mobile center. But with those 2 guards, if they're able to maintain the pocket, I think Foles has a good chance of making good plays.
Yeah. And I don't see a lot of gigantic pocket pushers up front for New England.
No, I don't either.
No, and it's certainly
have some weakness. Yeah, Wise there.
I mean, you're going to line James Harrison against Lane Johnson. That's a mismatch in the Eagles' favor, because all Harrison could do is semi-pass rush at this point. But
right, I assume they'd try to get Harrison on Vitae, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think he's. I don't think he's not.
He's not 39. Athletic. He's just winning on gangst right now.
Yeah, he's 39.
He's attitude and ferociousness.
So what I'm fearful of is disguising some blitzes, maybe some corner blitzes, things of that nature, to kind of surprise Nick and
get him.
Come maybe blindside on Vitai's side, have like a row, do some kind of blindside blitz, and that's where turnovers could be key. But,
absolutely.
The offensive line's done a great job. I mean, against Atlanta, there was not much pressure, and then last week there was next to no pressure against the defensive line that was supposed to tear us up. So
yeah.
So I think advantage us. I mean, it's just going to be Nick at the line if you're going to play 50-60%.
Yeah, if they don't get
option,
it's going to be who gets to the quarterback. Because if they get to Nick and knock his ass around, same thing. I mean, he doesn't like getting hit either.
Well, he also has to make the right read and know when to hand the ball off, and when run pass option is reading the right keys in the defense and determining whether you're going to give the running back the ball or whether you're going to pull it back and throw.
Right.
So a lot of that's going to be on him, but this is an offense he's succeeded in, so I like his chances. It's not a great defense. It's a defense that gives up a lot of yards, not a lot of points. We're going to be in scoring position, and I think difference like Brady, you're not going to win by kicking field goals, so we're going to have to score some touchdowns.
Right.
But we can do it.
I zoned out for a second, envisioning Elliott hitting like a 60-plus yarder in the dome.
Yeah.
that's actually what was going through my head
Elliott.
a second ago. Yeah.
Well, that does bode well. If we have enough time to go down at the end, that we don't have to get that close for Elliott to have a chance to win the game. So, that's certainly, Gostkowski is a pretty good kicker as well.
That's true.
The kickers are kind of a wash in my mind. But,
right.
We have chances to make plays offensively. And, obviously there's a big difference between having 9 points going into the fourth quarter or 21 points. So, field goals versus touchdowns are going to make a big difference.
So what about our defense against that offense? I mean, that's the biggest. I mean, can they figure him out?
I don't know that Brady. I mean, he was against Tennessee. He had a pretty dominant game.
Well, it's Tennessee.
It's going to be
wasn't it?
slants and running back dump offs, constant.
And Tennessee wasn't.
Tennessee was a weak playoff team.
They were.
They were not strong.
I mean, without that sort of pass to himself kind of situation, they wouldn't have made it past.
And
they were so scared of Jacksonville that they ran multiple trick plays.
And they struggled for the majority of the game.
They did,
Jacksonville. So they tired out a little bit.
I was rooting for Bortles so hard.
Me too.
Yeah. And Bortles had a decent game. He just couldn't get it done at the end when he had a chance to prove himself as an elite quarterback. And that'll perhaps reflect in the kind of offers he gets.
Probably.
Being a free agent. So it'd be curious to see in an offseason issue where Bortles goes. But he wasn't able to get it done. The defense wasn't able to stop Brady. They had 3 minutes left and a couple timeouts, and they weren't able to drive back down the field.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they just seem to get in that, like the Patriots seem to get in this mode where they just don't make mistakes, and we'll just march down on your face.
Well,
like, that's my biggest fear is that they figure out somehow to do that against the Eagles like late in the game.
I mean, that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, right?
It will be 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. Fake, over your head, 40 yards.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, they'll just keep marching down on you.
But
they better tackle. They better come up and fly up and tackle.
That's where you have to go tit for tat, though. That's where you have to have an offense that can come back down and score when they score.
Right.
The biggest problem in these comebacks is teams get complacent and scared, and all of a sudden they're out of their game, and Brady's just scoring. You have to find a way to counterpunch. So you just took one to the jaw. Brady just drove you down.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to counterpunch that. And I think at the end of the game,
right. That's your Ertz's. That's your Aguilar's. That's your Alshon.
It's not just going to be a hold on for like get up early and hold on for dear life because they'll score enough to win.
They will.
You're going to have to find a way to counterpunch the champ.
Yeah.
Yep.
The king of the mountain, the team that's been there the most in the last decade and a half.
The reigning Super Bowl holder.
That's right.
You're going to have to find a way to punch them back, and the only way you're going to win at the end. I mean, the way I envision this going is Eagles get up early. Tom Brady leads them to a comeback. And do we have enough to score to counterpunch?
Can they get another touchdown after that?
Can we counterpunch? So
once they figure out and change up their defense, can the Eagles either power through or change up their offense?
Yeah.
Right, to get it through.
Yeah, I think it's going to and I've said this about all the playoff games. I was right in the Atlanta game, wrong in this past game, but I think it's going to be another close game.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think we're, as far as adrenaline and initial game plan, I think we're going to get up early. And can we hold on?
I don't know.
The Patriots don't normally score, and sorry to cut you off, in their first quarter of Super Bowls. Like, they start out slow and deliberate.
Yeah.
And Dougie's scripted 15 are usually pretty good. The Eagles are pretty good about scoring. They're not quite as good with Foles as they were with Wentz, but I still think we have a good chance of starting the game up.
And no turnovers.
I mean, they have to, but I mean, don't they have to start the game up? I mean, like, if they do get down early, I mean, that's a problem.
No, but I mean, we were down early in Atlanta. We were down early in Minnesota. I don't know that one score. I mean, it's a difference between being a touchdown or 10-0 or starts.
No, they're always down by one score.
It's 17-0, 20. Like that's when it becomes a problem. Multiple scores. Like we've seen like the first drive, we've been a little bit out of sync. Like the defense is just not firing, but the defense always kind of levels their play and plays well the rest of the game. I don't remember a time where we were dominated the entire game defensively.
The defense has been straight up elite for a while now.
You're strong. I mean, barring an injury, if you look at our starters, I mean, obviously you have Graham and who they usually start. They don't start long usually, do they? It's Curry and Graham. It's Cox and Jernigan.
Yeah, I believe that's how they usually do it, right?
Curry, Graham, Cox, Jernigan. Then
because they bring Long in, yeah.
Yep.
And Bo Allen comes in as a sub at D tackle. So I'm not worried about those guys. Patrick Robinson's been an elite slot cornerback for us. Darby's played quite well. Mills, it depends on the matchup. The way PFF puts it on the board, Brandon Cooks on Mills, and I can't think of a worse mismatch. A small, quick speed guy versus Jalen Mills. I don't like that at all.
Straight toastage.
Because you're going to have to bring Jenkins up to kind of cover Gronkowski. So
that's a key matchup too. Can he contain that monster?
It's almost like if you were going to do that, you would have to
roll
Jenkins up and then
that's the thing,
roll McLeod over top. I mean, because Cooks versus Mills it's a bad matchup. So one of the few bad matchups, their offense versus our defense, but certainly something you don't want to contend with on a game basis. I mean, all he has to do is, work that sluggo, and all Brady has to do is lob up because he has a lollipop arm at this point in his career. All he has to do is lob it up.
He eats Quino, Brad.
What's that?
He eats Quino. He's like almost a damn vegan. How dare you say he's got a lollipop on him?
Yeah, what was that Facebook page that he had?
God.
Tom versus the world.
You better be ready to give up your life, because
Brady
he is.
versus Time or something like that.
Oh, Tom versus Time.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't-
watch him
I-
run
I
around
didn't
his
watch it,
palatial
but-
estate with his helmet on and pads.
Yeah,
and shoulder pads.
Yeah, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. I swallowed it. It's all right. It's all good. But yeah.
It's probably still tasted better than Samuel Adams' Boston Lager.
It still tasted better than Quino.
So yeah, Mills on Cooks is one matchup we don't want to see with regularity, and that's the only one of the few issues I have with Schwartz's defense is he likes his corners to play the same side of the field, regardless. So if they want to line Cooks up on the offense's right, Mills is going to be there. So you're going to have to rotate McLeod over top to help on that. Bring Jenkins up, and then it might create issues elsewhere. But Chris Hogan, not worried about. Amendola and Robinson. I think Robinson's a good match for Amendola. I think that really
I agree.
benefits the Eagles. They have a quick guy to match their quick small guy.
Yep.
And, Patrick Robinson's playing outstanding.
Amendola is not going to
he
get
is.
separation like he normally would.
He
I like that.
He may get catches, but as long as Robinson's there to make the tackle, I'm okay if he has 11 catches for 80 yards. It's fine. It's going to happen. They're going to have their offense somewhere. And it's better than Cooks having a 70-yard touchdown or Gronk having an 80-yard touchdown. So
I think they're going to test
there.
Kendricks and they're going to test Bradham and they're going to say, here's Rex Burkhead over and over and over. Here's Deion Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to catch the dump offs. They're going to make the bigger linebackers that have 40 pounds on those little dudes.
yeah.
Right.
Can you keep up with these kids?
But Bradham's been a stalwart all year, and Kendricks, outside of early in the season, has actually played really well. So I'm not that concerned about that. It's more about Mills to me than Kendricks. I mean, Kendricks has been susceptible to those before, but
Now, what if they rotate Najee Gooden?
well, that's
Like that Vikings touchdown.
Well, you will have your base defense. You hope that Ellerby is healthy and he can be the middle linebacker because he's a little bit better, I think, skill wise than Najee Good. But
I mean, he'd be fine if the Patriots still had Blunt, but they're not going to be. I guess they do still pound Deion Lewis, as weird as that sounds. They do pound him up the middle, and Ellerby can help with that.
But I think they pound out of a formation. You're not going to be in your 4-3 a lot. I don't think. I think, are there a lot of times where you're not going to have Cooks, Amendola, and Hogan out there?
Yeah. I don't know if it's still the case this year, but I remember reading in the offseason how the Patriots pass an exorbitant amount of time when they're in shotgun, and as soon as Brady gets underneath center, they run like a vast majority of the time. And I don't know if that's still in effect this year, but it certainly was last year.
And in all honesty, I'm not. No offense to the Patriots, but I'm not worried about their run game. Our run defense is shown time and time again.
Are you worried about the dump offs, though? I mean, like,
yes,
it's the passing.
I'm worried
game
about
of
the
running
dump
backs.
offs.
Screens,
I mean, the actual running game. Yeah, I'm with
routes.
you. I'm not worried about them actually running yards.
Yeah, no. You do have
Because those little dudes can catch.
They can catch. But I think it's like when they catch and they have time to kind of utilize their agility that they're
Right.
at. So you're almost going to have
So
to
you
be
can catch
right
at
on
5
top
and
of
get it
them.
up to 15.
Yes.
Catch and plant.
Tackle them within one step.
Yeah.
Right. Let them get that 5.
Don't let
them
them
get
get that steam going.
Yeah.
No, they have a couple linemen down the field.
Where that
Right.
4 becomes
Take
14.
that- right,
Exactly,
right,
yes.
Right. Keep them to minimum gains. Get pressure with the front 4 on Brady and make sure you have 7 in coverage.
Yeah,
Those are the
you
keys
really
to the
got to
game.
get Brady. I mean, I don't think Brady likes to get hit. I mean, I think he gets
No,
less
he
shook than
doesn't
most.
either.
But I mean, if you hit him enough, he starts to get cranky too. You'll see him start
Right.
yelling at the line and all that.
If anything, like their game plan veers almost towards like deferring to too much patience.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they're like, we'll just take this little garbage over and over and over and over
Right.
again. And then like we've seen in other Super Bowls, Brady gets pissed off at the fact that nothing's happening and does like an Eli Chuck just down the middle of the field hoping for something.
Right.
Like he's
right.
done that in multiple Super Bowls. So he can get flustered just like a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think our Our key is to be able to not have to blitz. I don't want to leave people out on an island.
Right.
Because he can throw
Get him at the front
He's still
door.
really accurate.
He'll shred the blitz.
He will.
He's
Yeah.
still really accurate. You don't want
And he doesn't-
If suddenly there's only one linebacker in the middle of the field,
Yeah,
there's
and
just too much space.
He will let him. He will stand there. And,
Yeah,
like,
there's
and
too
just
much
get crumpled
space.
if he sees it.
Right. And then
Before the linebacker even gets through the
Because
line,
he knows he'll get the call
pass
too.
will be
so
complete.
Well,
that's
not
the
even
other
the
thing.
linebackers.
You touch Brady after he even throws that ball, it's a penalty. So
a lot of it, and this is where
Yeah.
I'm worried a little bit. Curry is not always good at diagnosing what kind of play is running. He doesn't hold the edge a lot. A lot of times he'll crash too hard and leave the edge exposed.
He's done that a
So-
handful of times, yeah.
What I'm worried about is the front four not recognizing a screenplay. What you have to do if you're successful defending the screen is that you have to let one person run after the quarterback and the rest peel off to
Yes.
protect against the screen. And a lot of times I've seen all four come after the quarterback
Yeah.
and leave them exposed.
Especially
And
if you're
that's-
fired up. Maybe you're in the Super
can't do
Bowl.
that.
Maybe you're ready to go.
I mean, people like, and they're intelligent players, but the people have to recognize, identify one person that's going to go after it and peel off and make
Yeah.
sure those blockers don't make that screen become a huge play. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the most successful screens is like you're crying when you see it, when all of a sudden four people are converging on
Right.
Brady.
You can
and he's just-
scream and see it
and he's
before
just
the
tiptoeing
D-line.
backward a little bit,
Right.
buying time.
Yep.
And then he has the blockers out front, and all of a sudden, bam, big screenplay.
Like, I would love to recognize that the D end on the screen side recognizes it and peels.
Yeah, that's going to be a key too. So it's not going to be easy. I think
no, it's This
I-
is not a team they can just go
if
over.
we have good Nick, I think our offense will have success against their defense.
Absolutely.
There's just a question mark that when Brady's playing his best, it doesn't matter how good defensively you're playing, that
Right.
he can make things happen.
yeah, he
we're all
just
just-
becomes unstoppable in a freakish way.
We're all just kind of hoping Gronk just doesn't turn into like a dinosaur and go 10 for 180.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe he'll get concussed again. Maybe that's.
I mean, he's practicing with the team, but he's still in the concussion protocol, has not been cleared to play. So we'll see.
He'll be cleared to play. I'm not worried about that.
Right.
We might get lucky and there'll be something lingering.
Well, I think we should be worried about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely.
Right. I can just envision in
Didn't
my
he
head
mean-
like Malcolm Jenkins being in the perfect position and then Gronk's arms just being longer than him.
And being bigger and just shrugging
he
him
can
off.
body shield and get up and get balls that.
Yeah,
you know,
if suddenly the ball's over here, like he'll catch it and Malcolm Jenkins, he'll tackle him,
Right.
but the pass is complete.
yeah.
Or it's just you tackle him, he drags you 5 yards because you're trying to tackle this monster.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hard man to bring down.
Right.
Like, I'm worried about Gronk. I am worried about Gronk and in the underneath stuff. I'm not worried because I mean, if they get enough of that, then they're going to throw it to Cook's like long bomb shit because they're going to be so worried about the underneath stuff. It's just they're wily. They really got to smack Tom around. And I just want to see Tom Brady get hit a lot. I'm not even going to lie.
Brady has
I just wanna
not
see him
been
get
good
hit.
in connecting with Brandon Cooks this year. As a Cooks fantasy owner, like
I've noticed.
they've missed numerous bombs where just he's not good with judging how fast Cooks is, and they just don't line up really well.
Yeah, or maybe doesn't have the arm. By the time he makes the read, he doesn't have the arm to get it to him anymore.
At least so far, they haven't connected great.
So I think we can get pressure.
I think that's the key. I think if they get pressure and Nick doesn't go in,
But it's
and
not
Nick
that's
stays
right.
decent, Nick, we're good.
It's not only pressure though, because the outside guys can get pressure, but Tom is probably the best in the game about sidestepping and creating room when he's getting
Absolutely.
pressure on
Pocket
the edge.
pushing.
Yes,
Yeah,
When
totally.
the pocket comes back in his face, and he really has nowhere to go because the ends are already coming out, so he has nowhere to slide to.
what-
That's where he really
You got
has
a big
problem.
Fletcher
So
Cox in your face.
Fletch and Jernigan have to have the games of their lives.
And Long's got to get up in there
Yeah,
That's right.
during the rotation.
None of this stepping up.
And Graham on third downs when he slides inside, guy has to get some pressure too. So, I think we've got a chance. I don't feel like this is a gimme. Like just
Not
I'm
at all.
gonna like roll over and this is a Patriots Super Bowl.
I don't think
No
that,
way,
but
man.
I also just I don't have a real strong feeling either way. I think it's just so depends on certain things. Like if they can get at him and Nick isn't, and Nick keeps if Nick is anything like he was at the last game, they have a great chance. If Nick is not that guy, and they start getting picked, and they don't get at him, I think it's going to be it could be a rough game.
And I would like them to start a little bit stronger. Like that
Yes.
start against the Minnesota game, Torrey missing that long pass, Najee Good having no idea when they're just driving down the field
Right.
on that Kyle Rudolph touchdown, and then Shelton Gibson on that mindless penalty where the punt returner called for a fair catch, and he drilled him.
Yep.
You can't do that.
Trey Burton catching the ball with his feet out of bounds.
Yeah,
Yes,
not
exactly.
tapping his toe. I mean,
Right.
Yes.
That's like 4 really goofy mistakes
You
in
can't
the first
do that.
handful of minutes.
Just don't.
They'll kill you
Just
with that
don't
this
start
game.
that way. Like
Right.
This is the play to shine. This is the game to shine. Like
My throwing phone will shatter. I only bring one throwing phone.
I'm worried about your throwing phone, man. I am.
so. Yeah, we can't afford to be just kind of a little out of sync just in the beginning. I mean, we've always maintained and came back and it ended up winning games, but can't be making those kind of mistakes. That Torrey Smith's gain. I thought really that could have been a huge play. I mean, we ended up dominating, but that would have been a 50, 60-yard pass, and they would have had first and goal inside the 10, a chance to really take the momentum. Yeah, fortunately, we dominated them.
The pass wasn't perfect, but it should have been caught.
Yeah, it was still in a position where he should have caught it. So he did make up for it a little bit on his later touchdown catch, which was nice.
Yes, he did on the flea flicker. It was brilliant.
But yeah, we'll stretch the field a couple times with Torrey Smith. So he's got to come up big. No Evan Mitz.
Yeah, he's really got to get those hands.
right.
He's got to find those hands.
no hamburger helper.
No, sir. He's got to find the hands.
Yeah. So we got a chance. I'm
So
I'm
saying there's a
excited.
chance.
I'm
Bam!
I'm bouncing back between like excited and anxiety ridden. So
Oh,
it's, like,
anxiety ridden,
flip-flopping.
totally got the anxiety
back and
bit.
forth. And that's why I wish the game was today because I got to wait a whole nother week
I
to kind
know.
of work our way through it. Just
Right.
got to like buy time, just like go through the motions.
I just legit watched Eagles hype
it'll be fine.
videos for
It'll
about
be
a half
fine.
hour in bed today. There was one with the Avengers speech in the background.
Oh, the Dawkins.
Yes, there was another
Nice.
one that just had all of the Last Jedi trailer, but instead of the trailer, it was Eagles clips.
Nice.
There's another one where a dude created in WWE wrestling video game. He created 3 Patriots wrestling against 3 Eagles. It was like Cox against Tom Brady and Belichick.
Belichick.
Yeah. That was pumped out of my mind this morning, and then
should
the
be
game
great.
didn't happen.
It should be fun, man. I mean, I'm hoping, you know.
Be
They
competitive.
made it. They made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's exciting.
Woo! Got to be competitive. But yeah, I think by Wednesday's podcast, we're going to dig a little deeper into the Patriots' tendencies, our tendencies, and maybe some of the specific plays we may see in the game.
We'll have
Break
Moneyball
down a
on
little
here breaking it
film.
down.
Yeah, Moneyball will be back from his hiatus and be back on Wednesday to have one last podcast before the Super Bowl wrap up. And
Before the legend takes hold.
yeah, and it's been a great season. I'm excited for
Been a
2 more
great
podcasts.
season.
The luck of the beers and birds will
That's right.
continue.
B&B.
One
B&B
before,
luck will keep pushing it forward.
one before, and one after the Super Bowl. That's all we got left to wrap up this season and move into the off season. So I'm excited.
I am excited. Go Birds.
Go Birds!
Take care. Good night. We love you.